Hey, so welcome to week 3. We are going to be talking about one of my favorite morning routines, which is sitting in a deep squat like I'm doing right now. Only thing missing is my pup. She's at daycare, but usually she's sitting there and sipping my coffee and journaling and meditating and praying and that kind of stuff. And the reason I believe so highly in this practice is because being in this deep squat really aligns our digestive system and allows for our bowel movements to happen more naturally. So essentially, the way that they designed more modern toilets is at this 90-degree angle. So we have our hips kind of in this position, and the reason they did this was because there were a lot of just safety issues, I think, with how low the toilets were, and they were having issues with people falling because just as a society we are less mobile and less active as we used to be. And so they elevated the toilet seat, but then what they found was a lot of digestive issues. So enter the squatty potty. If you haven't looked up that YouTube commercial, it's pretty funny with the unicorn. But the squatty potty is essentially a stool that sits around your toilet and gets your feet up so that you're literally more in this deep squat position. You can use a regular stool as well too, like a kid's stool. But what happens is when we're at this 90-degree angle on a toilet, and you can look at the image in the email, it actually pinches off part of our rectum, so it doesn't allow for a smooth path for your bowel movement to come through. So what you end up having to do is you either, it throws your whole system off and you get more constipated. Your body has to potentially make more loose stools, so you have more diarrhea and that kind of thing. Or you have to push, and that can happen with either scenario, but the pushing is really detrimental, especially to our overall organ health. So that pushing, our organs are set up in our abdomen, in our thoracic cavity, in a very pressurized system. This is what allows us to breathe naturally. It allows everything to function optimally and also to sit in the proper spot. So that's where the best example that I can think of is when there's a puncture in the lung and the lung just collapses. And that's because the puncture is it's a change in pressure. So when you think of pushing to eliminate on the toilet, what you're doing is you're changing the pressure in the entire system and potentially placing strain on organs surrounding. So not even just the intestines, you're definitely straining the intestines, blood vessels down there. That's where hemorrhoids and that kind of stuff happen. But you may be affecting other organs like the liver and the stomach and the lungs and heart through just that constant change in pressure. Let alone the healthier pelvic floor, which is what Ashley is diving into this week. But from an organ standpoint, not pushing is so vital to helping heal that. So getting that squatty potty set up for the toilet will help a ton. It's also, you're never going to go back, and you're going to find creative ways to make it work when you're traveling and doing stuff like that, because it helps to eliminate fully. And we all know when you have a good bowel movement first thing in the morning, you just feel better. And that's because we're not holding on to toxins. People dealing with constipation and that kind of thing will start to reabsorb toxins into their body. So we want to get that squatty potty set up around our toilet for everything, for all elimination. So the reason I love this deep squat first thing in the morning is think of it as priming for elimination. So you're preparing your body. And notice I have a yoga block under here. So if I were to just hang out in a deep squat like this has its own benefits for your body. But for the purpose of preparing for a bowel movement, we want to be supported. We want to be able to relax, be in a more comfortable position. And that's going to be different for each person. So if a yoga block is too low for you, maybe your knees are kind of cranky, you can always be on a higher surface. The goal is just to be relaxed in a squat position where your hips are below your knees, ideally. And so my goal for you this week is to sit in a deep squat for at least 10 minutes first thing in the morning. You can sit with your cup of coffee, hot water, tea, something like that. And the deep squat is a big part of it, prepping that body, getting everything to relax. But I also think a lot of my patients that have issues with elimination in general is because they get up and go. And so our body, when we're in that fight or flight, that sympathetic response, your bowels are not designed to function optimally at that time. So if we can take 10 minutes, even if you have to wake up 10 minutes earlier, to sit and breathe and just be for 10 minutes, I think you will be blown away with how well your digestive system feels, your mind, because it's all connected, and also just reducing strain on your overall organ system. So that's what we're going to work on this week. Let us know if you have any questions on if you're getting like aches and pains in your sitting position. We've got lots of different ways to make that happen. And we will also put a link for the Squatty Potty into the email in case you just want to get fancy with it.